Gundam.tk presents High Grade Extreme Gundam. Hey again everybody, it's Robert184, 2 Rs2Bs from YouTube and Gundam.tk, and great to have you here as I take a look at the High Grade Extreme Gundam, which promises to be an extremely interesting model, or so they would have you believe from the name. This first went on sale in 2011 and sells for 1,600 yen. Yes, that really is its real name, and it's part of the high-grade Universal Century numbering system using 121, but unlike high-grade Afterwar, Future Century, or Universal Century, of course, this one is just HG, and the series it comes from, yes, is Gundam Extreme Versus. Which, if you're not familiar with, is a long-running series. It's going on its 10th year here, and basically the early versions all just took place with one series, Zeta Gundam, Seed, and things like that, before they went into Gundam vs. Gundam, and then they went to Next, and then they went Extreme, which was the big leap from SD to HD. Looked fantastic in the arcades, and then it finally came home on the PlayStation 3. It doesn't feature the Age 1 normal or the Titus, but you can guarantee, just like with Street Fighter 2, there's going to be a lot more versions, and they will eventually make an appearance. Now, the first thing you may notice when you look at the cover of that is, besides its possibly ridiculous name, unless you like the game, is that he seems to have a guitar for a weapon and a guitar case for a shield. And there's a reason for that, and that's because the famous singer Gact from Japan is a big Gundam fan. He's always doing collaborations with Bandai Namco, things like that. And anyway, he's always wanted to be in the show somehow, and they decided to make him voice the final bad guy from this whole game. So when you're in the arcade, forget M. Bison, you're going to be facing Gact in the Extreme Gundam, which has a really cool intro as it sort of absorbs all the powers from all the different Gundams and becomes somebody that you will probably get frustrated and lose a few hundred yen losing to. Here we have a shot of the kit all put together, and I have to say it's looking sharp, and that's for one simple reason: clear blue parts all over the place. It's got two colors there for the V-fin. The guitar case is looking okay. I wonder how many of this is thanks to the painter and how much we'll be able to get for lazy modelers like me right out of the box. You do have that guitar. The case is looking awfully plain on the inside, but again, clear parts even on the back, and there's something strange about the head. In terms of the actual Gundam itself, you can see that it's got pretty much just an inner frame until it absorbs a whole bunch of clear blue data, and then there it is, the head reveals itself, and it gets ready to beat you up with two henchmen. Over here, check out those stats. We've got pretty much everything is unknown. You'd think that this was the bad guy from Gundam Age, first generation. They talk about the whole extreme aspect there, and then you'll find out that you're going to have big name mecha designers who did the guitar and the guitar case, which you can actually hold there, but it really isn't that because it is a beam rifle, or so they'd have you believe, and it fits inside the shield. He's looking pretty sharp here. It's very Stargazer-ish, I think, for some strange reason, although he doesn't have the big rings on his back, but I do like the clear parts that's going to make or break this guy, I think. They've even got him on a clear action base there. You can have him with the guitar one-handed looking down the barrel, or whatever you call the end of a guitar, before you get to see the unpainted version, which doesn't look as pro as the one they've got over here, but it does have colors in the eyes, a clear part in the head for the jewel, and two colors in the V-fin, and the guitar case does have some color variations. So I think it's actually going to look pretty sharp and can only get better with a little bit of lining. Inside the box, you're going to be getting a garish A plate with tons of clear parts, yellow, red, and blue. Two small white plates there. The B plate has the big part there in white with some gray underneath and polycap, so quite a few plates to go with the manual. Inside the A plate is going to be one of the more interesting things I think we've ever seen for a Gundam, except for the fact that you've got this big bulky part here for the guitar case. It looks like some of the things that were white on the side of the box are actually going to have to be painted if you want to get it to look totally pro. Two V-fins, which is something I'll talk about, and you're going to get some yellow parts down there for the chest, which is great, especially for the vents, which is classic Gundam. Red waist there, and red goatee and under the eyes. But the real feature here that caught my eye is just all these clear blue parts, tons of them, 22 to 29. Usually they've got two in the sequence, a big part there for the chest, but you do have an ugly beam saber up there. You'd think that you could have a clear blue beam for the end instead of it just having it one color blue. A smaller B plate here with a V-fin that doesn't look to be on there too sturdy, but you're going to have all the parts you need for the waist, and it looks like for the ankle joints, they'll be on there. The ankle armor will be quite interesting. The guitar case, it's sort of cool that the handle is going to be in white, and you do have some holes, so that'll show through in blue, so kudos for that. However, the most interesting thing is if you look here, you've got a face for the front, you've got a face for the back, and another face to put in there. So this thing actually has two heads, one on the front and one on the back, Identaplates here for the C's, which are actually quite small and going to give you everything that you need that works in pairs. And the D plate brings it home with all the gray parts that you're going to need, both for the beam rifle guitar and for the chest, which is looking pretty sharp, the backpack and the inner frame. And in terms of manipulators, it looks like you're going to be getting 4 different kinds, including the open one, which is great for dynamic rockstar poses. And I almost forgot that there is a D2 plate, which takes up 1/4 of the D1 plate and is identical there for the joints. Seal's good and bad because you're going to get the regular eyes, which will look good with the red goatee part down below, and you're going to have 2 camera lenses there. I made a mistake earlier when I said that the camera lens is in clear blue because you actually put a green part on top of that. Would have been nice if you had the option. But the big disappointment is that I thought there were going to be blue ears on this guy made out of plastic, but as with most high grades, you actually just slap a blue sticker on top of the white before putting it on, but it is going to add a little bit of color to an already quite interesting head that sort of reminds me of one of the Harry Potter movies. You have a standard HGUC type cover here with a good looking shot of the Gundam painted, and there it is, the logo from the game. And again, the stats, completely useless. The only stat that I remember is how many dollars I've lost to this guy. Inside, I have to say that I really like this whole blue motif that seems to really be working this guy from the blue action bases to that kind of pose, which is probably the one that I'll want to have him in. Yes, the guitar does look a little bit ridiculous on occasion. The inner frame and the gray is looking good, especially combined with the blue, but that pose is something that hard rock fans may find irresistible to pass up on, especially if you think of him walking into a hotel with one of those. Inside the manual, you can see all the plates laid out there, including the very tiny D plate, 40 yen to replace parts, and after you build the chest, you may be able to make out the head here, where you put the goatee on the back of one of the faces and then plug that in, so that'll work. 2 parts there for the V-fin. Put the other face cover over the top, put the whole V-fin on, and then put on the sides with the seals. And then you put the other V-fin on upside down, along with an additional part and a lens. I really look forward to seeing what that's all about. Standard fare through the rest of the manual, except it's pretty neat to see that you've got some small pieces going in there for the shoulders, and that should add a little bit of very interesting color to break up the otherwise monotony, although this is a pretty colorful Gundam to begin with. When you put the lower body together, the guitar, not all that many parts, pretty much just the standard ones along with the scope. Not too many parts there for the guitar case. You do get a regular beam saber, which doesn't have the blade on it if you do want to plug it into the shoulders, RX-78-2 style. It's cool that it's got blue wrists down there, and you pop out a clear part to put the guitar case on there, and you can actually swivel this part around to get it into the head, attach an action base, and there he goes. And this is actually some pretty cool looking art, I have to say. The back page has a color guide down there, and again some more information and the details and gimmicks, including the fact that you've got thrusters that move, the arms with tons of points of articulation, along with the waist. Yes, it has a beam rifle. But the part that I really liked is, yes, they're advertising Gundam Extreme versus play in the arcade, but more importantly, you can also play at home by buying all the HG00, HGFC, and UC kits, and then having your own 2 versus 2 battle. Yes, Bandai, always a good job with the cross promotion, no doubt about that. So this was a fun unbox for me, just because you're going to be getting a lot of different colors on a lot of different plates. The seals seem to work. Yes, there's a few things, but to be expected from a high-grade 1/144th like the blue seals on the ears. But yes, hopefully all of these clear blue parts are going to make this quite an interesting Gundam, and I wonder whether you use the guitar or not, how he'll look on your shelf. Anyway, everybody, Robert184, gundam.tk, why don't you let me know what you think of GACT and Extreme Gundam and Gundam Extreme versus anything you want to say about this unbox video and about the mobile suit itself. Anyway, everybody, see you next time with all the parts and then it all put together. See ya. And tonight's guest on the Late 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 Show, it's GACT, superstar from Japan.